What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Chasing Green. Thanks for joining me on another one. Today we're going to be talking about off-season scouting. You got to keep in mind that off-season scouting is just a supplement to in-the-moment scouting when season's actually going on. You know, that the scouting during the season, when ducks are actually here, when everything's actually flooded, that's the real food. The off-season scouting is just like a vitamin supplement. It's just something to go along with it, but it's not something that you can just wholeheartedly rely on all the time in a lot of situations. One of the main reasons why I would use off-season scouting is when I'm trying to learn new areas. If you're planning to branch out this season to new areas around you, or maybe you moved to a new area, getting in that off-season scouting will give you that leg up. It'll give you that little bit of extra time that you don't have to waste during duck season. Any time that I can save during duck season, not having to scout stuff that I've already learned is a huge plus, because you've only got so many hours in the day, and a lot of us have limited scouting time anyway. So any kind of information that you can pick up in the off season about a place you don't know about is highly valuable. A lot of the places that are normally flooded during duck season are dry in the off season, or at least mostly dry. Not having water over a place will give you a much more in-depth view of it, a different perspective of the place you're scouting, and that can be really valuable. The places that I'm talking about here are places that you know are going to be flooded or have a good chance of being flooded. Some things that I would pay attention to in my off-season scouting is I'd be looking for low areas first. Which areas are gonna flood first with the first bit of rain or with the first bit of the river or lake rising? And that's important because on low water years, there's only gonna be, water in the low places, and knowing where that is already is a huge advantage. Also has to do with food content. Your moist soil stuff's gonna be different in different depths and depending on how long water stays on it and stuff like that. Second, I'd be looking for the opposite, ridges and high ground. And this really comes into play on high water years. We've used this a lot. There'll be the places that you normally hunt are a little too deep, but the high places are usually just right. So I would keep an eye out for them as well. Mark them on my Onyx or whatever map system you use. Put high spot, low spot, and you can also use topos to look at this as well. And while topo maps can sometimes help with this, you're really not going to be able to get a great feel for the low and high spots without actually going and putting your eyes on it, which is why it's valuable to look at it when it's not flooded. The third thing I'd be looking for in my off-season scouting would be cover. And I'm not looking for actual places to hide. That's what you need to look for when you're actually scouting it during duck season and you see where the ducks are working. I would just be looking in general. Yes, this place has a lot of cover. We're not going to have to worry about getting hidden here. Or no, there's no cover anywhere around. If we ever come here, we're going to have to bring A-frames or something. So you can generally get that just a general idea of the cover, and I would be paying attention to that and jotting it in my notes. Another thing you could be looking for in the off season is finding better routes to the spots you already hunt, or finding good routes to new places you plan to hunt. On public land, getting there the fastest and the most efficient is a huge thing to have in your favor, because a lot of times, especially if it's a good spot, there could be someone else trying to get there. And when there's no water or anything, you can really kind of take your time and look and see, man, we've been going this way for years, but it'd actually be a lot quicker to go this way. So, and kind of like I was saying earlier, you're not wasting time doing something you could have did in the off season. You need all the time you can get in duck season. Also, lakes are normally low in the off season, especially late summer, early fall. So just making a couple of loops on the lake that you normally hunt can give you a better idea of what certain coves look like and things like that when they're low. Any time spent on an area adds to the puzzle. It adds to giving you a better knowledge that could be useful in the future. It's not always going to be useful. We've learned a lot of redundant stuff that didn't matter over the years, but there's also been a lot of stuff we learned just strictly from spending a lot of time on a spot in duck season or when it's not duck season that has come and helped us down the road. If you're going to be just wasting time, you might as well be wasting time in a place you hunt, because you could learn something valuable from being there. Now, another major reason why you would want to do off-season scouting is to go look for food sources. Moist soil plants are a huge food source for all kinds of ducks. Moist soil plants grow in the off season. Depending on how much water is in a place and for how long, the drawdown of it all affects what kind of moist soil plants are going to grow there. So going to see where moist soil plants are growing, what kind are growing, and how much are growing can give you a huge leg up once season comes in. Now, obviously, you need to be able to identify moist soil plants, but thankfully, there's plenty of resources on the internet, whether you just Google it or get on YouTube. There's all kinds of resources out there that'll tell you how to identify moist soil plants and which ones are most beneficial for ducks. Now, my buddy Elliot from Freelance Duck Hunting uses this strategy all the time for finding food sources for ducks on public land during the off season. He recently just put out a video on it, and you can check it out right here. My good friend Joel Strickland from Surviving Duck Season also did a video detailing all the tips he's learned about off-season scouting over the years, and you can check it out right here. Thanks for watching today's video. I love you, and Lord willing, I'll catch you next time right here on Chasing Green.